What up, guys? Today we're talking about where you should travel alone if it is your very first time. I have been to over 65 countries by myself. I have traveled to 6 out of 7 continents solo. And in all of that time, with all that experience, there are definitely some places that are awesome for first-time solo travelers because they're just easier, they're super safe, easy to navigate, easy to meet other people, just easy, but also awesome. So this list is 10 countries long. You've got a lot of options all over the world. Let's dive right in. Number 1 is Iceland. Iceland, first of all, is just so magical. As you're driving through, you're going to just be pulling over constantly because you're just going to see mind-blowing vista after mind-blowing view, and you're just going to question constantly if you're even on Earth anymore. But another reason that it is so wonderful for first-time solo travelers is because it is consistently ranked number 1 in terms of safety, the safest country in the world. People will leave their car running when they go to grocery shop, which is hard to imagine anywhere else. Iceland is also very easy to navigate, especially if you're doing the ring road. You just got one road you gotta worry about. And I think it's wonderful as a solo traveler because you're gonna meet other people at the campsites who are doing the same thing as you are, or at the hotels, however you decide to do it. But if you do wanna be alone, you can have solitude as well. I really had a mix of both when I went to Iceland. So my recommendation is that you begin in Reykjavik if you wanna meet people. That's where everyone starts anyway. Spend a couple days there, get to know people, maybe stay at a hostel to facilitate that and make it easier. Get a rental and give yourself at least a week to see the ring road, and you're gonna really build up your confidence on your abilities to travel solo doing this awesome drive. Number 2, I will always love Thailand for first-time solo travelers. It is actually the first place that I went when I started my big solo travel journey 9 years ago. Although some people like to say, oh, it's the banana pancake trail, what's wrong with that? It is made to be just simple and easy in terms of getting around. The bus system's great, public transport's awesome. You're gonna meet so many other travelers no matter what part of the country you decide to go to. In the north, you have these mind-blowingly gorgeous temples like the White Temple. In the middle, you have Bangkok and my personal favorite island, Koh Rong. And then you get down south and then you have the famous islands like Koh Tao or Koh Phi Phi that you've seen countless photos of for sure. There are a couple quieter islands that I personally love called Koh Yao Yai and Koh Yao Noi. There is tons on this channel to help you learn more about traveling in Thailand, but just know that it's called the Banana Pancake Trail for a reason, but I don't mind that because as a first-time solo traveler, it was perfect for me, and I think you will really love it too. Next on my list is probably one of the most intriguing, culturally unique countries on planet Earth, and that is Japan. Let me just give you an example. I was trying to figure out their subway system, which can be a little bit advanced because there's a lot of different lines, but there was actually someone there whose job it was to help me when I got lost. I can't think of another subway system or country where that's the case. At least I haven't experienced it. And the friendliness is just unparalleled. I mean, people really do respect each other's personal space. Even though Tokyo is a crowded place, you just don't feel like you're getting pushed and shoved around because, at least from my observations, people were just very conscientious, and that speaks volumes, I think, of Japanese culture. Although there is going to be a language barrier, especially in some of the smaller towns, I feel that people really still try to be welcoming and conscientious, and Japan is also one of the safest countries that you can travel to. I mean, people actually will save a spot at a table by putting their wallet down. Imagine that. Next on the list is a country that is near and dear to my heart because I lived there for nearly 4 years, and that is Germany. In terms of diversity in a country that you could choose to go to, what I love about Germany is that you've got the funkiness of Berlin, which is where I used to live. It's gritty, it's so super cool. I just felt cooler by living there. And then you have the beauty of the Bavarian Alps. Another area that I just adore is Baden-Württemberg. So Stuttgart is the main city there. So you can fly into there, rent a car, and explore the surrounding areas. I mean, there are waterfalls, there are mountains, there are Christmas markets with the chocolate theme. So if you go in Christmas time, it is really just wonderful. I also love Berlin in the summer. There's really nothing like it. You've got so many different cultures all mixing together because Berlin truly is this place that just calls in people from all around the world. Obviously, I'm biased, but I highly recommend that you check out Germany, particularly Berlin. Next on the list is another country that is regularly ranked super duper safe, and that is New Zealand. Very few people go to New Zealand and don't fall in love with it. If you're younger, you might really enjoy staying in the hostels there. If you're a little bit older, like your late 20s or 30s, you might feel a little bit old doing the hostels in a place like New Zealand. However, you can totally rent a camper van or a car and just drive around and see some amazing things. The hiking is fantastic. The landscape is fantastic. You're surrounded by ocean, so the sunsets and sunrises are amazing. You can do tours where you can see dolphins. I mean, there's really just so much to do in New Zealand. Plus, if you are a native English speaker, people are talking to you in your own language, which is also really helpful. Next is Peru. The reason why I recommend Peru is because of the Inca Trail. If you want to go to a place solo but not really be solo, join a hiking group that is going to the Inca Trail. You're going to be really blown away by how good they are at making delicious food. I mean, they're kind of famous for this on the Inca Trail. So they cook all your food, you have porters carrying your stuff, and you have a built-in group that you can interact with and get to know. That makes getting to know a country a lot better and a lot easier. Just because you're traveling alone doesn't mean you actually need to be alone 100% of the time. In fact, that's rarely been my experience. Peru, specifically the Inca Trail, is definitely one that I would recommend because it's beautiful. You get to see one of the ancient wonders of the world, also known as an energy vortex, if you're into that kind of thing. And you're gonna meet other people who are super into doing this whole backpacking thing too, or if it's your first time, it's an easy way to ease in because, again, you don't have to carry any of your own stuff really. I've taken a group actually backpacking there myself where I was a tour guide, and most people there, it was their first time traveling alone. Many of them coming away from that with lifelong friendships. So you never know who you're gonna meet and how great of a time you could have. Keeping in South America, we've got the Galapagos Islands in Ecuador. So the wonderful thing about going to the Galapagos Island is that you can just join a cruise. It doesn't even have to be expensive if it's a last-minute cruise. Hot tip, look for last-minute cruises. And I just met awesome people on mine. And I swam with turtles, penguins, lizards, sea lions, hammerhead sharks, Galapagos sharks. We don't have time even for me to list all of the things that I saw when I was there. Truly, this is one of the most amazing trips that I've ever been on. It was one that I went on a couple of years ago, and then I brought a group there where, again, I was the tour guide, and they were all solo travelers meeting each other for the first time, and again, coming away from it with some awesome relationships. And so that's why I really love going to places as a solo traveler where there is a set thing to do that people go there to do. When you have sort of a central reason for people to be there, you're a lot more likely to meet other solo travelers. Next, we're moving to the African continent, and I just love Botswana. Botswana is also on that list of safe countries to visit, and I know that Africa gets this reputation as not being a safe place to visit, but it is many countries made up of one continent, and so there's all kinds of different experiences that you can have there. I've spent about a cumulative year of my life traveling around the continent, and I just have fallen so in love with Botswana. It's amazing to just go, and I would recommend probably going on a tour and just experience the beauty of this country. I mean, you've got the Okavango Delta, which you can take a plane over and you can see herds of elephants, all kinds of animals. You can see giraffes, you can see zebras. You can just see so many animals that you probably grew up learning like in books like Z is for zebra. It's just cool to see it in person. And again, something like a safari, especially, you can even choose ones that go with your age group. They've got Acacia Africa if you're from 18 to 35. If you pay a little bit more, you'll probably get people who are in a higher age range. So don't rule out going to this continent. You've also got Namibia, South Africa, Mozambique, all down south, all countries that I love. And I traveled to all of them by myself and had wonderful experiences. Next is, of course, the beautiful USA. I've probably traveled alone more in the States than any other country that I've been to because I am from here. but I just love getting in the car, driving out and going and camping. I live in the American Southwest, and so there's so many options out here, but I always meet people. I always meet people out there, and they're often so cool. I mean, Americans are friendly. Obviously, you need to have a good head on your shoulders. Smaller towns are always going to be a little bit safer. Big cities, you need to really be careful. There's a whole nother video I have about the 10 best places in the USA to travel solo as well, so go ahead and check that one out. But if you are from the US, it's just so easy to travel within your own country. You don't even have to go all that far from home to have an amazing solo adventure, and I would totally recommend that you take it easier on yourself and pick something that is nearby and have just the best trip ever in a place that maybe you never even dreamed of going before. Finally, one of my favorite countries to travel to alone, my number one, is Canada. It is true that Canadians are friendly. This is one of those stereotypes that is just so incredibly true. I've had the best time every time I've gone to Canada. I've even gone to the places where other people were like, why would you go there? Like, I've been to Manitoba twice, loved it both times. I even went in the winter and had a freaking amazing time. Alberta is obviously so amazing, so beautiful, and you're going to meet plenty of other people. In terms of driving, in terms of language, if you're from the States, this is going to be really simple for you. There's just so much diversity in Canada too. It is a huge country, and there's really so much to see, whether it's polar bears and belugas, or wolves, or changing leaves, or whatever it is that you are hoping to see, you can find it in Canada, except for tropical destinations, but that's why Thailand's on the list. So I hope that helped you to figure out the countries that you should be traveling to as a first-time traveler. We have information on the show notes below so that you can sign up for my email list where I give you a new tip every day on how to travel alone completely free. I'll see you soon. Turn on notifications so that you never miss a video. Bye.